to tell you everything you need to know before choosing a job with ADHD. I stared into space for 15 minutes trying to think of an intro, but all I have for you is the good stuff, so let's just get right in. Number one, you have a superpower. Your ability to hyper-focus on specific tasks makes you a huge asset to your employer. Typically, you'll probably find it easiest to hyper-focus on something that you're actually interested in, so consider applying for jobs that really interest you, even if that job is different to your qualifications or experience. Number two, in this era of AI, we need people with ADHD. Divergent thinking is also a huge asset in creative roles, which are being largely replaced by AI at the moment. A lot of people speculate that Steve Jobs had ADHD because his way of running a company and creating products was so unconventional. That's an example of divergent thinking. So if you're watching this on an Apple device now, thank him for it. Number three, running your own business could be the right fit for you. People with ADHD often work best in high-risk workplaces. When you run your own business, you have a lot of different tasks going on all at once, and you're just able to choose what feels best for you in that moment. You also have the opportunity to set your own deadlines, and it can be a lot less stressful when you don't have somebody else telling you what to do. This option is only good for people who are really self-disciplined though, and people who can work 40 or more hours a week without someone else telling you to do it. When you run your own company though, your working hours are entirely flexible. You could work at night when you don't sleep, when you wake up in the mornings, on weekends, it can be entirely up to you. As someone who does run a business, I want to add that you can really get on a roll with it over time. Like the more that you just keep forcing yourself to do something, the more that you'll just do it more and more and more. When I first started my business, I was only working for maybe 10 hours a week, then 20 hours, then 30 hours. And once I really got into a swing of things, that's when I was hitting like crazy things like 80-hour weeks because I was just getting into this hyper focus all the time. Self-care and work-life balance is really tricky with this one though, as is choosing a business that actually fits your personality and your type of ADHD. So really think about this one. Number four, deciding if you should tell your employer. So if you decide that working in someone else's company is the right fit for you, you're going to have to decide if telling them that you have ADHD is the right choice for you or not. Here are some points to consider. You have legal rights and protections. In the US, the Americans with Disabilities Act means that your boss is legally required to provide reasonable accommodations. This could include flexible work schedules, a workplace that is free of distractions, providing noise-canceling headphones, extending your deadlines, changing tasks to suit you better, providing computer apps that help with organization, and giving you permission to take breaks when you need them. You can only get these protections if you tell your company about your ADHD. However, because of these things, if you tell the company about your ADHD in the interview, they might choose not to hire you. They legally can't discriminate because you have ADHD, but it still happens really often. And it is so important to know your rights. If you tell your employer about your ADHD, they are legally not allowed to tell anyone. They have to keep it confidential. Number five, be aware that you are probably extra sensitive to rejection. People with ADHD often experience something called rejection sensitive dysphoria, or RSD. RSD makes anything that you think is a criticism or a failure feel extremely personal. Here's the good news. By experiencing rejection more often, you can become more resilient. For example, jobs that involve public speaking or sales jobs can make you really resilient because you're going to experience rejection a lot. I put up a job ad for a role in my company recently, and I got more than 100 applicants in 24 hours. I honestly spent less than 1 minute looking at everyone's resume because there was only one person who stood out. They had more than 10 years of experience, they're incredibly skilled, and from their cover letter, I could tell that they spent hours researching into our company before they even applied. Some of the other 99 applicants were amazing. They were very talented, very qualified. But sometimes, if there's another applicant who's way more qualified than you, maybe they're even just way older than you, so they have more experience, there's really nothing that you could do to get the job, even if the manager really likes you. Sales is a role that I would really recommend to someone with ADHD, especially in-person sales job. You can get a lot of physical activity, meet new people, and go to new places every day. There aren't many deadlines to meet, and there can be a lot of flexibility with this job. Most sales jobs also offer a commission, which can be an amazing motivator to get working and really reward you for doing your job well. Let's sidetrack a little because this is an ADHD video after all. There are two main types of sales roles: base plus commission sales roles and commission only sales roles. Let's dive into both of them. Base plus commission sales roles will offer you a base salary, which is a fixed weekly salary that you get paid no matter what, and a lower commission. These jobs are a lot harder to get because the company has committed to paying you money even if you don't make any sales. They are very strict that you make a minimum number of monthly sales to make back what they pay you, so it's really easy to get fired from base plus commission jobs. They also usually want you to have sales experience to get hired. Commission-only sales jobs can be very easy to get. You can even find commission-only sales jobs online that don't even have an interview. This can be amazing if you get interview anxiety because it's one of the few jobs that you can find that actually won't have an interview for you. There are also some online websites and different platforms that have commission-only sales jobs advertised that you can do entirely from home in whatever hours you choose. Commission is usually 10 to 15%, but can sometimes be as high as 30 to 50% of the sale value. So if you sell a $100 service or product, you could theoretically get $30 to $50. Or if you sell a $1,000 service or product, you could get $300 to $500. Now imagine if you sold a $10,000 product. Getting into this, there are also high ticket sales and low ticket sales jobs. It's important to know the difference. High ticket sales means you're selling something very expensive, which is usually over $1,000. High ticket sales are a lot harder to make, but you're going to earn more from each sale. High ticket sales are best suited to someone who can present themselves really well, get a nice haircut, and you know how to talk to rich people. High ticket sales jobs can also be harder to get because the brand often wants someone who fits their very particular brand image. Low ticket sales can be a fantastic job for people with ADHD because you're getting lots of those really quick little dopamine hits. Sales is a great skill to have on your resume for almost any job you apply for because it means that you're charismatic and you understand people. Sales is also a really good skill that you could take into running your own company one day. Most people who run their own companies start out doing a lot of sales themselves. If you want ADHD career tips that are better than that little tangent I just went on, you can get NeuroDive's career workbook at neurodive.co. And I'm a bit excited because this is a pay what you can workbook, meaning this is entirely accessible for everyone. Now back on track. Number 6, you need a balance of routine and excitement. You will simply work best in a job that has routine, but also where every day feels a little bit different. Like with a sales job, you could be selling the same product every day, but to different people in different places. If you're a dance exercise instructor, you might be traveling around to different gyms, but be working at the same time every week. Your time for the classes would be fixed, but you can choose your own time to plan the lessons. Tuition is another job that allows you the flexibility to plan lessons in your own time. Number 7, you can't be stuck in a chair all day. No office jail for you, it simply will not work. I repeat, and listen, no office jail for you. Nod if you agree, nod at your computer or your phone. Do not apply for that desk job. I repeat, do not apply for that desk job. Pick a job that's going to let you walk around or even jump around if you need to. Your ADHD could make you an amazing dance instructor or a dog walker. And of course, I just want to loop back to sales and mention that this is an amazing job for getting out somewhere and being on your feet. Number 8, be aware of time blindness. This one's a bit too personal. Can we actually skip this point, please? It essentially means that you suck at knowing how long something is going to take. It essentially means that you are absolutely terrible at knowing how long something is going to take. If you think a job could take 15 minutes, it could really take 5 hours. Just consider this when you're choosing your job. Look, I'm not a hypocrite, so I'm not going to give any advice here. But I'm just saying, like, say you take a tuition job where you think that planning the lesson will only take 10 minutes. It's not going to. It's going to take like 1 to 2 hours. So just consider that when you're deciding what rate you're going to charge someone, okay? Or if you're a content creator who needs to write a 10-minute YouTube video, what sensible person would think that you can write a 10-minute YouTube video in 10 minutes? Me, apparently. Anyway, did you already forget half of what I said? Of course you did. Let's summarize. Number 1, your superpower is how focused you can be. Leverage that in your job interviews. Number 2, AI thinks like everyone else, but you think in a way that's unique to you, and you can use that too. Number 3, you could be really good at running your own business, especially if you can be really self-disciplined. Number 4, it's a tricky decision if you're deciding to tell your boss or not if you have ADHD. They're technically, legally not allowed to discriminate against you, but if they're a really sucky person, they still might. So unfortunately, that's just something that you have to weigh up. Number 5, you're probably extra sensitive to rejection. Just remind yourself constantly, it is not as personal as you think it is, and just get back on the horse. Number 6, you need a combination of routine and excitement. Number 7, do not take that office job because you cannot be stuck in a chair all day. And number 8, be aware that like me, you're probably terrible at estimating how long things take. Don't forget to check out NeuroDive's Pay What You Can career workbook at neurodive.co and have a beautiful day.